All right, let's jump right into one of the most useful concepts in Italian grammar, the verb esserci. You've probably seen c'è and ci sono and wondered, what's the deal with them? When do I use which? Well, you're in the right place because we're about to clear all that up. Let's get started.
So first up, the basics. We're going to start with the two forms you've most likely already bumped into, c'è and ci sono. Getting these down is really the foundation for everything else that follows.
Okay, so this is a question every single person learning Italian asks. How do you say there is and there are? It seems simple, right? And the answer introduces us to a really, really useful verb. The basic rule here is actually pretty straightforward. It all comes down to numbers. If you're talking about one single thing, a singular subject, you use c'è. If you're talking about more than one thing, so a plural subject, you use ci sono. Let's see how this works with a real example.
Take a look at these sentences. First, in salotto c'è una televisione. We use c'è because we're talking about one television, right? Singular. But in the next one, in salotto ci sono due poltrone. We switch to ci sono because now we have two armchairs. It's plural. See? The verb just adapts to what you're describing. Simple as that. Okay, so let's dig a little deeper into the full verb esserci. You might be wondering, where do c'è and ci sono actually come from? Well, they're not just random phrases. They're actually conjugations of a much bigger, complete verb.
This kind of verb has a fancy name, a verbo pronominale. Now, don't let that scare you. It sounds way more complex than it is. All it means is that you take a verb you already know, essere, which means to be, and you join it with a tiny little word, a particle. In this case, that particle is ci, and ci basically means there or in that place. So when you put them together, esserci literally means to be there.
And here it is, the full conjugation, laid out side by side. On the left, you've got the good old verb essere, and on the right, you have esserci. The logic here is super simple, as you can see. You just take that little particle ci and pop it right before each form of essere. That's it.
So, while it's true that in everyday conversation you're mostly going to hear c'è and ci sono, it's important to know that all these other forms are perfectly correct. For instance, if someone asks, "Who's home?" you could answer, "In casa ci sono io," which means I am here at home. It's a really great way to emphasize your own presence somewhere.
All right, now for what is probably the most important part of all this, esserci versus essere. This is a crucial distinction, and I mean crucial, because choosing the wrong one can totally change what you're trying to say. So let's break down how to get it right every time.
It all boils down to one simple question. What is the main point of your sentence? What's the focus? If your goal is to talk about the location of something, to answer the question, where, you're going to use essere. But if your goal is to talk about the existence of something in a known place, answering who or what is there, then you'll use esserci.
Let's look at the first case. Someone asks, "Dov'è Marco?" Where is Marco? What's the key piece of information we need? It's his location. And because we're focused on location, we use essere. The answer, Marco è in camera.
Okay, now let's compare that to a slightly different question. This time someone asks, "Chi c'è in camera?" Who is in the room? Notice the difference? We already know the location, in camera. The missing information is who is in that location. We're asking about existence. And for that, we need esserci. The answer, in camera, c'è Marco.
So this brings us to the main idea. It's all about your communicative goal. Let's just summarize this one more time, because honestly, this is the secret to never mixing them up. It really is all about figuring out what you're trying to achieve with your sentence. Here's a good way to think about it. Think of essere as your GPS. Its whole job is to pinpoint a location on a map. It answers the question, where is it? Esserci, on the other hand, is more like an inventory list. You already know the location, the warehouse, the room, the box, and esserci tells you what or who is inside it. Okay, time to put this into practice. Let's do a couple of quick scenarios. Think it through, and let's see if we can pick the right verb together. First up, Let's say we want to state that a book is on the table. So, what's our goal? Are we trying to tell someone where the book is, as in locating it? Or are we just pointing out what exists on the table? Think about it. And the correct answer is sul tavolo c'è un libro. Why? Because our focus is on the place, the table, and we're simply stating what exists there. We're taking inventory of the table, and yep, there's a book on it.
All right, second one. We need to say that the kitchen is on the first floor. What's the goal this time? It's pretty clear, right? We're locating the kitchen. So, of course, we use essere. La cucina è al primo piano. The focus isn't on what else might be on the first floor. We're just giving the precise location of the kitchen. We are firing up our verbal GPS.
So there you have it. You've now got a really solid handle on Esserci. But here's the cool part. This isn't just the end of one lesson. It's actually the beginning of understanding a whole lot more. This same logic, this idea of adding the little particle ci to a verb, also applies to other super common verbs like volerci and metterci. So, by mastering Esserci, you've just taken a huge first step towards sounding much more natural and fluent in Italian. Well done!